Hi, this is Robbie with Tickner Photography. I'm about to do a little bit of traveling out of the country again, and for that I'm going to bring my old Sony A7, but I thought it was time for a new lens. Usually I carry around a couple with me, and I only have A-mount lenses, so I have to bring my adapter and then the giant lens that goes with it. So I thought it was time to get something other than the kit lens that came with it. And I wanted something very versatile, so I wouldn't have to carry around quite as many other lenses when I'm traveling to a different country. So I opted to get a lens that may not be the sharpest and may not be the fastest, but may be one of the most versatile for a full-frame E-mount camera. It's a 24 to 240 millimeter lens. It's f3.5 to 6.3, so it's not the fastest, but at 24 millimeters, 3.5, that's not too bad. So I thought I would open it up right now, just kind of show you what's in the box, and then once I get back from my travels, I'll post a couple pictures of that, and we'll see what we get. With the kit lens that I have, it's only a 24 to 70, so I always find myself wanting more reach, and all of my other lenses, my 70 to 200 2.8 is gigantic, so it's difficult to bring with me in some situations. Okay, so we get a lens hood. First thing I notice about this lens is it's heavy. Just this lens by itself could possibly weigh as much as the kit lens and the camera together. That's something to note. Build quality, solid. It feels like it's all metal. Nice zoom. Oh, interesting. So on this camera, the zoom ring is in front and the focus ring is in back. Seems like that's backwards compared to every other Sony lens that I have. So that's something to note. Also, something I wish most of these lenses would have is a zoom lock. So you could lock it at 24, and when you carry it at your side, it won't telescope out. This feels super tight right now, but it's something, even my Zeiss 24 to 70, I wish it had a zoom lock. One of my, actually the very first lens I bought for my SLRs way back was a 24 to 250, no, 18 to 250. But it had a zoom lock, and I found that really handy. I still wish all my other lenses had it. Beside the point. Okay. So we have a plastic lens hood, good size, have standard manuals and junk inside. Okay. Full frame. Does feel a bit front heavy, as to be expected. 72 millimeter filter threads. Yeah, okay, so telescopes far, but actually not as far as I was expecting. Let's see here. Wow, that is massive zoom. So focus when you're at 24 on the wide end seems to be quite fast. Just in my living room, very low light, so focus seemed quite fast. And when I zoomed in to 240, it took much longer. I'm guessing in better lighting it will be faster, but that's something I will keep in mind while I'm out and about, and I will give you a slightly better review once I've had some time with this. Let's see here. With the lens hood, just to give you an idea, that's going to be interesting dangling on my side. Well, hopefully right now I will show you some pictures from my trip and give you an idea of what we can capture with this lens. I've been using the 24 to 240 for about a week and a half now on vacation, and so far I really like it. It gives you a lot of reach, more than I'm used to with this. Autofocus has seemed pretty good in good light to moderate light. It's quite snappy. It's really fast when you're zoomed out at 24 millimeters. When you're zoomed in all the way, it's a little bit slower. And in low light, it slows down quite a bit. And I think this is mostly because I'm using a 3-generation old camera. The A7 autofocus was not the best to begin with. It's okay, but it's not great. Something like the A7R Mark III or the A9, I'm betting this would be a lot better, just the speed of the autofocus. I'm getting used to the weight of it. I use a Black Rapid strap, so it's on my side, and it has never extended by itself, so that's good. I'm not sure if it will stay like that for a long time, if it should have had a lock, but so far so good. The weight of it is not too bad. I'm getting used to having the focus ring closer. It actually makes it a little bit easier to use the autofocus manual focus button and then slowly manually lock on to a subject if for some reason it's having a difficult time. I've used that a couple times and it's worked. Having 240 millimeters of range is really nice. I haven't had that traveling before. I usually top out at 200 millimeters, so having that little extra reach is really nice. I haven't been able to examine the photos in extensive detail just because I'm on vacation, so I'll take these home and we'll look at them on the computer in a little while. I'll put up some examples and we'll see what we're dealing with. I don't expect them to be the absolute sharpest lens. This is kind of not what this lens is designed for, but to give you the versatility of traveling, not too bad. So far so good. I like it. Well, I've been home for a couple days and I've had a little bit of time to review the photos that came out of this lens, and so far I'm pretty happy. I didn't get anything spectacular, but that's my fault, not the camera's fault. The lens performed pretty well. The only issue that it's not really an issue, I should have noticed. The only thing I discovered about this is the minimum focus distance is a little bit large. I think when you're zoomed in, it's almost 3 feet away. So if you zoom it to 240, you have to be a fair distance away from your subject. That's the only real issue I had. Otherwise, the lens, this was an eel we found on the beach, does a pretty good job. 24 millimeters, not 30 millimeters. The optical stabilization works great. So, I mean, they were moving really fast. This one isn't quite as sharp. I should have had a higher shutter speed. But that's 1:1 magnification at almost 200 millimeters out. You'll note there's no chromatic aberration, nothing. So optically we're okay. We're a little bit not quite sharp, but they were moving really fast. So an iguana in a tree, you can kind of see the bokeh here. It's not that bad. Some of these leaves were in front of the iguana, some were behind the iguana. So we're at 240 millimeters and we're at our maximum aperture of f6.3, 500 ISO. So we're at 240 millimeters, only 1/100th of a second. And it's perfectly sharp. This is 1:1 magnification, so optical stabilization was working great. I'm happy with that. More you can kind of see the bokeh as it fades away. Just using the lens through different things. This I was trying to get right above this cactus and shoot straight down, but unfortunately the minimum focus distance I would have needed to be 2 feet taller to do it, but you can still see the amount of detail it picks up. This is perfectly sharp. It's slightly off center on the image, so the lens performed well there. And bokeh is nice. I'm happy with that. Another iguana. This was cactus growing out of a roof in a little village in the mountains. And my focus was a little bit off there, really strongly backlit. So I think the camera focused right here, so it wasn't on a particular thing. Another iguana crawling out of a roof somewhere. And that's not too bad. 240 millimeters, maximum zoom range. Bokeh is good. Yeah. 24 millimeters, so the maximum out of the lens. We might be getting, there might be a little chromatic aberration here, but that's pretty minimal considering that's blown out in that corner to dark. Yeah, all in all, it's not too bad. Looking straight up at one of these buildings that are falling apart. Another seeing the bokeh as something fades away. That's pretty good. More kind of bokeh demonstrations. Inside of a church. I don't like that one. A doorway on a church. That was pretty cool. Inside of a church, HDR, so a couple images, all handheld, very dark. This was at sunset, so there's barely any light in here. It worked okay. Outside, another HDR, a little bit too much saturation here. I'll fix that. But yeah. Anyway, a few images out of this 24 to 240 lens. All in all, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm looking forward to taking it somewhere else. I wish my camera itself had a little bit better autofocus, and one of these days I'll upgrade to maybe the A7R Mark III or the A9. But otherwise, this works pretty good. So I hope you found this somewhat useful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.